It was Abraham Lincoln in his 1856 speech who said, "The ballot is stronger than the bullet." In other words, emphasizing the place of democracy in the lives of the people. To Theodore Roosevelt, however, a vote is like a rifle. Its usefulness depends upon the character of the user, meaning democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely. As an integral part of the electoral process, an obligation and duty of a citizen, one's vote confers legitimacy on a government. Therefore, education is a real safeguard of democracy. It is less than a year to Nigeria's 2019 general elections, and expectedly, the electoral scene is busy. From debates by the National Assembly on rescheduling of the election order to the 68 registered political parties seeking INEC's approval and the continuous voter registration, it is a mixed grill. Considering the place of a single vote in some cases as the decider between a win or defeat, the possession of the permanent voter card in Nigeria after due registration is critical. This edition of Dateline 360 therefore zeroes in on citizens' readiness for the 2019 general elections against the assertion that democracy only works when people claim it as their own. Welcome, as always. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Every election is determined by the people who show up. That's in an ideal democracy, a league which Nigeria currently belongs to. This is Dateline 360. Thanks for rejoining us as we take you through preparations towards the 2019 general elections, with emphasis on owning the major determinant, the permanent voters card. Abdullahi Garba Brininkuru has our lead report this week.
Nigeria!
Politicians at their best, wooing the voters to give them their mandate. These campaigns, as usual, come with lots of promises, some repeatedly said but not fulfilled, while others are fulfilled to the satisfaction of their followers. But as Nigerians prepare for another round of elections, come 2019, what should be the deciding factor for choice of politicians that will satisfy the yearnings and aspirations of the electorate?
This way is for the Nigeria to shun corruption, and to be honest, anybody that comes with money to give you to vote for him, don't vote for him.
By the provisions of the electoral law, you can only vote when you have your name in the voters' register. And when your name is in the voter register, you get the permanent voter cards, which is a requirement for voting in any election in Nigeria. How important is this voter cards to Nigerians?
Strongest weapon to fight for Buhari.
Yes. So, how important do you regard this card?
That is my freedom. Yes, it's my liberty.
I'm not like to go and do voters card because of the situation of nowadays. They know if you go, they will begin to delay you for there. That is why.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Do you have a voter's card?
I don't have, sir.
Why?
Just like that.
You don't want to vote some months election?
Yes.
Why?
Just like that. Best known to me.
Such a response, it is no wonder that there are about more than 7 million permanent voter cards uncollected at the INEC centers, despite the fact that it is about 1 year since INEC began its distribution. INEC, however, says it is encouraging that more than 69 million Nigerians have made its voters register.
That in addition to registering voters, we are also interested in tidying up and cleaning up the voter register. As required by law, at the end of each quarter, the register is displayed nationwide for claims and objections. Let citizens look at the register and tell us, are there ineligible persons on the register?
To improve on the credibility of the process, the Commission introduced a permanent voter card with security chiefs in 2014 and used in 2015 general elections to match the introduction of smart card reader in Nigeria's election.
If you don't have the permanent voter card, You are powerless as it has to do with elections. You are voiceless. And as a matter of fact, we say it's permanent voter card, aka make your choice. You can't make a choice if you don't have your permanent voter card. And
Sun, however, remains on more voter education for both the process and deepening Nigeria's democracy.
The political parties are supposed to be the major stakeholder in terms of educating citizens about issues of the electoral process, because these political parties are the ones who are beneficiaries, primary beneficiaries of the electoral process. They are the ones that...
Because our country has an agency that needs to enlighten the country before. They have to be proactive. So I urge National Orientation Agency to be proactive in this respect, not only in this voter registration.
But politicians are the beneficiaries of these electorates once they go to vote. The higher the number of voters, the more they will benefit out of it.
Then you see, if you leave it at the hands of the politician, party will only give information that is benefit to them.
However, by whatever yardstick, political observers believe democracy is the best system of governance because it allows for choice. And that choice can only be done by only people who participate in the process. For the electorate, it's for them to get their voter cards and participate in choosing whom they want to elect as their leader. Reporting for Dateline System, Abdullahi Garbagono.
True Abdullahi, rather than express frustration on the performance of a government after elections, the only way to secure the future of a country is by using the PVC to decide the right leadership. And that's why our next set of reports will give a situation across the country. Our starting point is Kano, one of the states with the highest voting population in Nigeria. And Fatima Sanusi Karaye is our guide.
Population is one of the fundamental features of Kano, and it plays a crucial role in elections, with an estimated population of about 11 million as of 2011.
Kano State has been described as one of the states in the country with high number of registered voters. According to Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, there are about 4.9 million people who registered as of 2015. Today, that number has risen from 4.9 to 5.2 million people. But the question here is, do these people know the power of voters' card?
A 65-year-old Hajia Hassatu of Kololo village at Bichi local government area of Kano State is one of the classical examples of people with voting power but lacks adequate knowledge to apply it. This could be due to cultural inhibitions, which seems to weigh her electoral decisions down.
My card is at home. I will go out and vote, but if my husband said we should go.
It is important to know that electoral process is one of the bulwarks of democracy, with voters as major stakeholders.
I registered, first of all, in order to be a patriotic citizen of the country. Secondly, in order to use my voter's card to vote for the person I wish.
I want to vote the person I know will work for people like me.
I have voter's card because I want to vote someone who will work for me. I'm a Nigerian. I love my country and my state, so I will use my power to vote who I think is fit to lead me.
There had been some concerns that underage voters may have been used to boost election outcome in the state, but stakeholders are resolute in the state electoral process.
Do you have the cases where young people that are not up to age registering here?
No, we don't have any of that kind of cases like that under 18. We don't have any children or any pure person who has been registered in our local government.
Independent National Electoral Commission in Kano is working hard to change the tide of voter apathy so that the likes of Hajia Hassatu can appreciate their voting power to change the political landscape.
Then could you just talk a little about this voter apathy?
Very often you hear that, well, even if we go out to vote, our votes do not count, for a simple reason that there's a perception that elections are likely to be manipulated or to be rigged in a way that voting doesn't matter. I think over the years, we have seen improvement, and I think the confidence is being regained.
This effort may come to a note if eligible voters who are registered fail to collect their voter cards, as currently there are more than 250,000 unclaimed permanent voter cards, which are in the custody of INEC in Kano.
Here in Kano, people are taking the advantage of the continuous voter registration to obtain their permanent voter card ahead of the 2019 general election. I have gotten my own. I hope, Hawa, you have gotten yours too. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garaye, Dateline 360.
Very well, Fatima. But let's join Onengie Fine Face in Port Harcourt, South Nigeria, where we understand awareness on the significance of the PVC is on the increase.
If you not come out to come to voters card, then go say person no come out. But as you come out like that, I bet we could go beg them for us. We could do the voters card, I beg. We don't try. Sunday hold us. 6 months, nothing I don't chop unless this of power buy what they chop.
We call you by December and say this year. Now this year I even came because of this voters card, not do my BVM on my bank. There's no way I can withdraw money. Still at now, then still turning on say we should come back later, come back later. It's not good now, which is without voters card now we cannot vote.
Number one is very slow. Let's tell ourselves the truth. And number two, they don't have manpower.
I'll only recommend that the government should make the systems more available than this, so that if we have more numbers of systems here, you know, it will make the job easier.
These complaints on loss of man-hours, inadequate staff and direct data capture machines, unfriendly weather and environment suffered during the long hours of waiting, and the sheer irritation of regular visits to INEC offices for what should be a simple exercise characterized the continuous permanent voter card registration and collection exercise at the onset in 2017 and early 2018. The electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, responded swiftly. Political party leaders, individuals and groups joined the train of public enlightenment on the importance of PVCs.
At the commencement of the voter registration exercise in Rivers State, INEC offices in literally all the LGAs were filled to capacity by voters who were eager to get registered. At that point, it was all complaints about how difficult the processes were. Today the case seemed different. In fact, here at the Port Harcourt City Local Government Office of INEC, for the first time we see people seated comfortably under the cover of a shade, waiting patiently to get registered.
Well, as I came, I know see plenty people, but I never to wait much time that the thing don't reach my hand. That is very easy to come and very easy to go.
With the positive changes recorded in many INEC registration centers, and with a little more commitment to extend same to all local government areas of the state, one can only expect that by 2019, all eligible voters in Rivers State would have received their permanent voter cards. For Dateline 360, I'm Onengie Fine Face.
Not only Rivers, but all over Nigeria, Onengie, many thanks. Ironically, while the initial mixed feelings in Nigeria's South is being replaced with optimism, Toluwa Lokpe Kainde in Ogun State has what could be considered disturbing. Hundreds of residents of Abeokuta, she reports, are yet to claim their PVCs.
In less than a year to the general elections, registration and collection of permanent voters' cards have become more crucial as the level of sensitization is daily on the increase, even in the southwestern area of Nigeria and particularly in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. No doubt, the eligibility of the electorate on the day of election is dependent on the PVC as the only instrument that guarantees access to the ballot box. However, as many as are better sensitized are willing to obtain the voter's card, even though the process seems cumbersome and time-consuming.
For the past 4 hours, we are still waiting because we don't know when they will now call on us.
This is St. Peter's Anglican Primary School, Ake, Abeokuta, one of the INEC voters registration centers in Abeokuta South local government area. You're here for the voters registration. What has been your experience? How has it been?
Yes, over 2 hours ago I've been here. Everything is going fine.
Everything is going fine, smoothly?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're optimistic, like in a few minutes' time you will be done here?
Yes, in like 1 hour's time, everything will be done.
Of concern, however, is the number of unclaimed PVCs across Ogun State. Out of about 1.6 million plus that registered, 425,000 PVCs are yet to be collected than ever before. The electorate in the state are now better informed on the power of their votes, beginning with obtaining the permanent voters card, PVC. For Dateline 360, I am Tolu Alokwe.
Awareness of the importance of the PVC without actual possession, the electoral umpire says, simply means giving up the power of one's voice in matters that affect such. Now, to Nigeria's northeast, where Naomi Aboko is on standby to bring us to speed on the situation there, considering the peculiar nature of a people displaced due to insurgency.
Since the commencement of continuous voter registration exercise in April 2017, about 300,000 eligible voters in Borno State have successfully registered. The exercise started with 27 centers, constituting one each for all the local government areas in the state.
In Borno, we have just about 69,000 PVCs that are yet to be claimed. And this accounted to issues of double registration, multiple registrations, and PVCs of deceased persons.
The number of CVR centers were later increased with 21, making 48 due to massive turnout of people with cases of loss of PVCs resulting from displacement caused by the insurgency. For communities still taking refuge in Maiduguri, CVR centers were established in all the internally displaced persons camps, making it easy for eligible voters to participate in the exercise.
Advise the public, especially those in the IDP camps, to please not register more than once, because that will count against the total voters in the state.
As part of effort to ensure eligible voters get to register in areas hard to reach around the state, INEC Borno State, in synergy with Nigerian Air Force, airlifted staff and electoral materials to Ngala, Kalabalge, Mobar, Dikwa, and Benki. Local council chairmen, on the other hand, have also been mobilizing their people on the need to obtain the voters' card, stressing that it is the only way to effect change in the democratic process.
Effect of the insurgency has not deterred the IDPs in the camps and within host communities coming out to register. And with the awareness programs making huge impact, with significant population obtaining the temporary and much later the permanent voters' cards. However, this is a clear indication of prospects for massive turnout of voters coming 2019 general elections. For Dateline 360 in Maiduguri, I am Naomi Aboko.
That's the spirit, Naomi, not allowing one's situation to deprive him or her of rights enshrined in the Constitution. And to our last bet this week by Saliu Abdullahi. The focus is on the role of stakeholders in the electioneering process to educate and empower the electorate to make informed decisions regarding candidates.
Political observers believe that one of the fundamental steps to having a smooth election is educating the electorate on how to make right decisions in all the processes of election. This is in line with experts' views that elections cannot be genuinely democratic unless voters are made to know and understand the means, plans and programs of various contestants, which in turn will equip them to cast informed votes and make right decisions.
People need to know who is running for an election to a legislative position or to an executive position, that the decision they are making to vote for a particular person is the right one.
After elections are conducted, all those involved in election monitoring end up criticizing the electoral umpire, in this case, the Independent National Electoral Commission. 2019 is just around the corner. Can we know what the Intercontinental Leadership Initiative intend to achieve in terms of educating the electorate?
In practical terms, I'll be addressing the youth of Nigeria. I'll be addressing the youth of Nigeria because the youth, a lot of people will say, the youth have not been given a chance in Nigeria, or the youth have been marginalized in Nigeria. But is that really the case? Some people go to the extent, the same old men we saw since 70s up to now, there are still people. The question is this: are the Nigerian youth ready for leadership? So until we stop stomach infrastructure, we cannot get developmental infrastructure.
Records from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and some election monitors have shown that in the 2015 general elections, only 68 million people, less than 38% of the country's population, participated due to challenges of voter awareness and education.
And that's why we've been working on the legislative side of things to get an electoral act in place. We've been advocating for an electoral offences commission so that it's in place that would then bring people to account for failures to obey electoral laws. Keep an eye on what the Electoral Commission is doing, draw to its attention the challenges people are having, whether it is with registering in the continuous voter registration exercise, identifying themselves in the voter register, or even coming out to come out and vote.
In a short while, Nigerian electorates will be interacting with politicians from about 68 political parties, even though the messages they will be sharing with them is not yet known. How does INEC intend to empower prospective voters through education?
We are going to have a lot of interaction, apart from training, with nearly every stakeholder that we have for 2019 general elections.
However, experts believe that if key stakeholders re-strategize and educate people on best ways to be actively engaged before, during, and even after elections, it will be better for the nation's democracy, as the best candidate will occupy the right positions. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi for Dateline 360.
Indeed, Salihu, with political campaigns for the 2019 general elections expected to start in earnest by November the 18th, and election proper by February 2019, there is no overemphasizing that fact. Today in Nigeria, the only legitimate instrument that guarantees accessibility to the ballot box, and by extension who determines the fate of the people, is the PVC. What's your PVC status? Be part of this conversation through our platforms, Dateline 360 at nta.ng or at NTA News Now. Thanks for being part of this edition. But remember, your vote is your power. Use it wisely. Many thanks and bye for now.
You are watching NTA.